My name's Steve Holt. I'm a resident of Osage. Where are you with this feasibility study? Are you at the beginning, at the end, in the middle?
We're at the beginning stages, but we've gone through a little bit of due diligence, obtaining information from the tribe, which they have provided regarding the existing facilities, some of the tribal offices, which we certainly want to target, some of their tower sites, like I mentioned earlier. And we are now working on doing some of the research, if you will, on the existing service providers that are out there, doing some preliminary cost estimates. And so we're in the beginning stages, but we had targeted around middle of December, I believe it was, to complete the feasibility study.
Okay. So basically, there would be a big pipe, maybe a big pipe going in different directions to service, communities of all sizes, Pawhuska, and even small communities that don't have broadband right now, for instance. And where the study is determined into what pipe you're going to tap into, like to maybe license from AT&T some of their pipe, or to build fiber from down in Tulsa, or could you give us if you're forming any conclusions in that regard, I'd be interested.
Right. Well, we will look at all of the above. There's the existing fiber facilities that are out there are limited, but we are taking a look at that. We want to try to look at every angle, if you will. We will certainly propose, or we will take a look at the cost estimates and the payback for constructing our own fiber, backhaul, if you will.
Okay, and then on the follow-on, we've got, and I use it as an example, we have a wonderful business development center here that was brought about because of inclusiveness and diverse groups, like the City of Pawhuska, the Osage Tribe, the Osage County Industrial Authority, not just one, but several. And I applaud the tribe for taking this initiative. So this is not a criticism, it's just a question. Is this feasibility study going to look at inviting other participants into this at the front end in order to buy in and have some ownership in this process, and maybe also some ownership in the table? Or is this something else in terms of, the tribe wants to build this infrastructure first and then invite in, users and licensees?
Thank you for the question, sir. The study is going to look at as much as we can so that we understand how we can phase in different aspects of this infrastructure. The first phase in our vision is to shore up the government, the Osage Nation government, because their network is very unreliable, and we want to certainly focus on that initially. But as I said earlier in the introduction, we will be wanting to partner with others. We will need to partner with others. It's just a matter of determining and understanding what the feasibility study shows and how we can make this successful for not just the Osage Nation, but all communities and all people within the county of Osage, in Osage County. So I think that there's other people who have an interest, and certainly we don't want to exclude anybody. This is about building a nation, it's about building a community. So when we talk about the maps that you saw on the overhead there, when you see that map, and you see all those circles, those don't exist right now. None of that exists right now. But as you can see, when you look at those borders of the Osage County, you will see that it goes into Tulsa, into up north into Bartlesville, even into the Ponca City area. So it's going to cover most of the nation itself, most of the county. And so in order to really make this viable in some respects, it's going to be necessary to partner. This model that is being presented is not new. These models are out there. Other rural communities have already done it. Tribal communities have established this model, as you've heard previously. And a lot of times, those models involve other entities within that community. For example, the electric companies or the utility companies, they have infrastructure already. And so it just makes sense to work with whoever the players are, that want to be a part of this. It's really premature at this point to say, yeah, we're going to invite, everybody. We have to have some control, but I think that through this feasibility study and how we share that with the community and how we share that with whomever we may partner with, whether it be city governments, the county, other private industry, we need to make it viable and successful for everyone, and just not the Osage Nation. Yes.
Dave, my name's Eddie Red Eagle. I'm on the ONES board. We worked with you on the previous attempt at a grant, and I thank you for that. You did some hard work and hard lifting.
Force on that effort in a very short period of time. If you remember.
Yes, sir.
My comment, a couple comments. I would listen to a substation like NPR or somebody like that, and they quoted today's times where you look not at a metropolitan area of growth. You look at a megapolis area of growth. The number one area right now for that in that mega level is your Jacksonville, Florida, Panhandle, Florida, that world, number one. Mad growth. The second one is Tucson, Phoenix, and that channel up in the Sunbelt. That's number two. Number three was described as the I-35 mega office. The I-35 mega office, where do you think it starts? How far south? Huh? San Antonio. How far north will it go? We're talking about the I-35 mega office.
Kansas City.
All the way to Kansas City. From San Antonio to Kansas City is the number 3 growth megapolis population explosion, and we're 90 miles from it. Ponca City is 30 miles away from it. We are sitting on a gold mine of people that will come here if we get broadband. So I just want to say, to factor that into your thinking as you go through this preparation. Second comment is, we no doubt will be in competition for financing and grants, along with a lot of other entities throughout the United States, no doubt. Heavy, heavy competition. So I think you have to uncover the possibility that this is a reservation, and by the mineral estate and the untapped resource that's there makes this a different category participant. We have everything else that everybody else has, need-wise. They don't have oil, but we do. And the tribe owns it. The nation owns that oil. I've heard a historical number of 930 million barrels have come out of the Osage since 1900. Listen to the number. 900 million barrels of oil have been taken out of the Osage. If there's 5% left, how much is that? All it is, take people.
450,000.
How much?
450,000.
450,000, no, 450 million barrels. You know what I'm saying? I think it's really 40 million barrels. Think about it. That is a part of something you can leverage when you come into a competition. I think your feasibility study is going to do what it's going to do. It's going to show we need this, we need it today. The leverage we need is to beat all these other Nashvilles and Detroits and Birminghams and all them people. When they come into competition, we're against them. So our leverage, I think, is the mineral state. And as another point getter in a grant competition or financial competition, because it appears that the tribe may be responsible for the management of the estate. That's a whole different category, and we didn't have this the last time we worked the numbers. We didn't have that, even thinking about it, but that's coming our way. So I just insert those thoughts to you as you go into this feasibility to find some leverage as you get into the competition of the grants. Thank you.
I appreciate that, and the grants, all of the grant programs are very competitive. You know, one other thing that seems to be consistent with all of the federal grant programs is that a lot of these are annual programs that we know are coming, but we never have any idea, it seems like, when the government's going to announce, you know, the starting point of these, if you will. Once they do announce funding is available, it's typical that you have 60 days, a very short, you know, window to assemble your application and have that submitted. So with us doing some of the initial legwork on the feasibility study, I think we'll be better prepared to submit a more quality application.
I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get our video up. So having some technical difficulties. See what we can do with broadband? We have broadband. Reliable broadband. Another question or comment?
In your PowerPoint, you said that you did business with Williams. WillTel uses dead pipelines for fiber optics. I don't know what this answer is, but I just wonder, do they utilize the pipeline on the reservation? Is that part of a situation that you could use as far as pushing the fiber optics for us to utilize throughout the reservation? Would they be somebody to partner with, or would that be something we would call upon the mineral estate to find out where these dead lines are? Because it would seem to me that would be a lot more, makes sense. No?
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Anytime you have an existing conduit, if you will, essentially what that is to allow us to literally blow the fiber optic cables in. There's a fiber blowing technique or pulling that in. Certainly there's a huge cost savings there. So I think the question would be, are those pipelines available to us? Who owns those? How much would they charge? What kind of condition are they in? Is there truly a savings for using those, or are we better off just, you know, plowing in our own high-density polyethylene pipe that you see that's common for fiber optics, and blowing our own fiber in there? Excellent question. Something we should probably, you know, take a look at. To be honest with you, other than, you know, Williams, I'm not sure, you know, many others that have gone down that path, but maybe it's something we
Well,
should look at.
WillTel's been doing that for a long time. But I think, would it behoove us as well, if when a new pipeline goes in, that they're already digging and already doing, wouldn't it also behoove us to partner? That way it just makes life a lot easier. Anyway.
Sure, no, that is a very excellent point, and anytime you have a new subdivision going in, whether, you know, they're opening the trench, laying in new water or sewer lines, whatever that might be, definitely they call it joint trench. Certainly that's something that we would want to be thinking about. It's minimal expense to throw in an additional conduit to come back later and utilize for fiber, and you could extend that beyond the utilities to, I guess, pipelines as well, if somebody's laying new pipelines on the reservation.
Do we have any other questions or comments from the audience? Well, I want to thank Craig for coming in from Ponca City to share with us his success story there in Ponca City. And as you can see, it's being done. They're a perfect example of what can be done. And of course, Mr. Lightfoot and his team, I have the greatest confidence in them just based on their experience alone and where they've been and done work elsewhere. But I think that you can kind of get a feel now for what potential is for broadband. I know we make it all sound really good and worth the while, but it really is, because this is the future that we're talking about. What we're talking about is being able to create those opportunities for those generations yet to come. And this is what it is really all about, this automation and being able to develop our communities, to develop our infrastructure within our government. And we heard Mr. Reddy talk about our minerals. With broadband comes other opportunities such as smart metering. Mr. Lightfoot talked a little bit about that. Smart metering means being able to measure, those oil reserves, those resources, what's being taken out of the ground in real time. It's just almost unbelievable that in today's day and age that we still do that. And it's something that when we implement a infrastructure like this, and you start to see the development, you start to see the potential as they happen, it opens other doors. It gives you more ideas, more of the newer technology that comes out and allows you to really see what you can do with this kind of infrastructure. The technology is changing so rapidly. What is it, every 30 days, every month, or whatever it is, the technology changes. And, where are we? Where are we right now? I think that you all have probably internet at home or on your phones, but when you use it, I know, or when you're watching Netflix, maybe sometimes that hourglass comes up and starts turning, you're waiting for something to download. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about improving that. We want to make that instantaneous. We want to be able to have that kind of infrastructure within our businesses so that, we can make a livelihood for ourselves, so that, we can attract more business, so that we can improve all aspects of our life. It's all about quality of life. So, I appreciate you all being here this evening. I think we've had a very good introduction to what broadband is and where this is going. You haven't heard the last of this. Early in next year, I believe in Congress, when they have their spring session, we'll be making a presentation to talk about our findings and be able to go from there. So this is all unfolding as we speak. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your understanding and sharing, with what we're doing here, because you are a part of this. We all are a part of this.